in this seemingly simple position, there is actually a lot going on. So first, we're white, and of course we're trying to win, and black is up a pawn, although it doesn't really look like it, right? Because, well, black's bishop is trapped in the corner with nowhere to go, and it's trapped by a not so handsome looking knight on b7, and black's king is all the way on the other side of the world, not much help. So, well, because of all this cramped position, black's king is actually a little more vulnerable than he would, because that b7 knight has replaced the b7 pawn that's usually there, and without that to protect a6 and c6 from enemy attackers, and as well as the fact that a8, a7, b7, and c7 are all occupied by his own pieces. Black's only escape square is c8, and that can be also very easily controlled by our queen or a knight. So, well, to take advantage of that, there's a couple ways to do that. First of all, either moving our knight magically around the board, then getting it to c6, and then checking the king from b8 to his only escape square, c8, and then that falls right into queen to h3, checking onto the c8 square, and that is pure deadly for black. And the second idea is thinking of a low back rank mate, because that knight is just as useless as a pawn would have been if it were sitting right there. So if we could just get our queen down to f8, like fly over the bishop to f8, and then we would control the c8 square immediately, and then although black's knight can block, black will soon be dead meat. So, well, it might seem like the move knight to b4 is good, right? Because, well, it's forcing, right? It attacks the queen, and it's working to get the knight to c6, which, like I said, is a very deadly line. Although that can be easily thwarted by queen to a3, pinning the knight to the king so that our knight can't move, or else will be in check, our king that is. So our knight can't get to that magical c6 square. So now we have to resolve to the idea of getting our queen to f8, check, and also other adversary mate. So we want to get rid of our bishop. No offense, bishop, but about to move the bishop away to get our queen to f8. No magical queens popping up on the board today. So again, not just any random bishop move, like, I don't know, bishop to d4 will work, because it's one free move for black to, defend the f8 square plus something like a6, maybe get more escape squares. So something more forcing like bishop takes a7, check. So there's a few things that we consider after this sacrifice. First, queen takes a7. Well, then that just falls into a little nicely set trap. Queen to f8 check. Black can block, but we simply capture that. And then next turn, it's forced checkmate. So black has to take with his king, a much more stubborn move. Black is not that keen on losing to us. So a little lesson here: don't ever underestimate pawns. Even though what I said back here, that the knight is just as useless as if a pawn was sitting there. Although that is actually very true. Don't ever estimate the power of our pawns. How about that? Especially when we're looking for strong, powerful moves that can continue our check. And here it's pretty obviously which pawn move. There's only one pawn move, b6 check. So, well, if black doesn't want to take us, which in the end is the best move, king to b8 just turns him into a piece of burnt toast. So, well, a6 is already protected by our queen, so the only move is to play c takes b6. So now, well, queen f8, sure, you can play that, but that's also pretty much burnt toast. So, going back to our idea of getting the knight to c6 checks, mate, we play knight to b4. And although it seems like the same queen a3 can just do the job, pinning the knight to the king, a response can also be found in the main line. So I don't want to spoil all the fun for you just yet. I'm just going to tell you that queen a4 is much better. Well, not much better, a longer lasting response. Either way, we're going to destroy this person. So queen to a4, which will make black last a little longer by protecting the c6 square, the magical c6 square, and attacking our b4 knight, which we obviously can't lose because, well, we sacrificed our bishop and our pawn. So if we lose this knight, well, then the queen can checkmate by itself. So we have to keep on to this, like, hold on to this knight. So maybe queen c4 might look pretty appealing, but then knight to c5 is a rather simple move that can thwart all our plans. It's, first of all, blocking off our queen's access to c6 and protecting the queen. And now we're just down material and we have nothing to show for it. Also, a more fancy move would be queen to e8 check. And then if we take knight to d6, I actually found this, computer engine. Computers seem to be smarter than humans. So what in the world do we do here now? How do we get our knight to c6? So we want to get rid of this little queen, right? Boop. And, well, think of it as this. I'm not a master of love, but I saw this in a video once, like, say, our king is very fond of this little girl, and he's talking to her with an ice cream truck. Drives along and lures this king away from his girlfriend. And, well, his girlfriend is now very mad. And White's king here can get his little ice cream. So, like, we can do the same thing here. Black's queen is here very fond of her knight because Black's queen does not want her king to get checkmated. Although we can give her a little ice cream to lure her away. And in fact, that ice cream here is poisonous. Queen to a6 check. And, well, first of all, king to b8 simply hangs the queen. So the only move is to play queen takes a6. And now our knight is not turning red anymore from his queen staring at him. And he can simply execute his plan, knight to c6 checkmate.